practice prone shavasana with a blanket roll underneath the low belly. So roll up your blanket as you see here, and then come onto your hands and knees and rest your belly down on the blanket roll. And take the blanket roll fairly low in the belly, but the pelvis should be hanging back and over it. So you have to play with the placement of the blanket roll to find a good place in the low belly, definitely below the rib cage. But let the pelvis and the rib cage be on opposite sides of the blanket roll. So the pelvis relaxes on one side of the blanket roll and the rib cage relaxes on the other. And the abdomen recedes to receive the pressure of the blanket roll. Let the belly be soft and receptive here. And let the belly receive the pressure of the blanket roll. You can let your forehead rest on your forearms. Relax the legs and the feet. So you should feel some pressure in your belly here from the blanket roll. And adjust your body so that you can relax here. Adjust the arms and the legs as you need to. If you like, you can open up the arms and turn your head to one side if that works for you. And if you do that, just be sure to switch your head in a few moments. Breathe into your belly here. Breathe into that pressure that you feel in the belly. Inhaling and exhaling here. Let the upper buttocks release back and down away from the lower back. Heavy tailbone here. Soft, receptive abdomen. Smooth inhalation. Smooth exhalation. Allow yourself to be supported by the floor and the blanket roll. Smooth, gradual breath. And just observe here, observing each moment. And then come up to hands and knees to come out of the pose. Sit down on your shins and pause. Now we'll practice a restorative prone twist using a bolster. So sit with Bharavajrasana legs as you see here. And have the bolster coming right up against the outer right hip. And then twist your body so that the front of your trunk faces the bolster. And lay your body out nice and long, laying out over the bolster. And you can turn your head to the left or the right. So turning the head in the opposite direction of the knees is going to be a little bit of a stronger twist. So you decide. And let the forearms and elbows relax down. The elbows can be at around shoulder height here. And relax into the support of the bolster. And let the left side ribs, especially those back ribs on the left side, become heavy and drop down towards the bolster. Relaxing the limbs and the trunk here. And stay very present. Just observing. And use your hands on the sticky mat to help you come on up. And then turn your back to the bolster so you can flip your knees over to the other side. So now you'll bring the bolster up against the outer left hip and staying upright, twist so that the front of your trunk faces the bolster, and then lay on out over the bolster so that your trunk is well supported. And rest your forearms and hands down to the sides of the bolster and choose the position for the head. And let those back right ribs be heavy and grounded here, relaxing into the support of the bolster. As you breathe, feel the dimension of your trunk, the length, the width, the depth of the trunk. And let yourself have a passivity here, so receptive. Smooth breathing. And use your hands to help you come on up to sit. Now we'll practice a variation of child's pose, which will include an abdominal massage. So start on hands and knees and bring your shins together. And then sit back onto your heels. Make a fist with your right hand and place your fist onto the left side of your belly under your rib cage. And then place the left fist in front of the right fist. And let both fists sink deep into the left side of your belly as you fold forward. And your left thigh will press your fists deeper into your belly. You can let your fists squirm around a little bit so that the belly is receiving the pressure of the fists. So you allow your fists to wiggle and squirm, moving deeper into the soft, receptive belly. And you will encounter some discomfort here, some tight places. And breathe there. And then inhale and roll yourself up and place your left fist onto the right side of your abdomen underneath the right ribs in the front. And then place your right fist in front of the left fist, so stacking those fists. And then come over into a child's pose, bending forward, and that right thigh will help the fists move deep into the right side of your belly. And let those fists move and squirm around a little bit, giving yourself some gentle but substantial pressure in the abdomen, making space in there, learning to soften the tight places, learning to ungrip, to relax in the abdomen. Breathe here into your belly, breathe into the back body. And then inhale and roll yourself up. And exhale, relaxing here. We'll do extended child's pose with knees wide and with a blanket roll at the hip crease. So take your blanket and roll it up, and then pull the blanket roll into your hip crease and lift your belly up and over the blanket roll. Put your hands on blocks and start to extend your arms, extend your armpits, pull your outer hips back and down, and come into this extended child. Press the blocks forward, widen your hands and press your handprints into the blocks and keep those arms extended. Keep the sides of your waist extended and feel the pressure of the blanket going into the low belly. So the belly is receding back towards the lumbar spine, which is rounding gently. So the lumbar area becomes spacious and long and broad. Breathe here and let your forehead rest down. Be long in the front of the thoracic spine, even though the belly is receding back. Soft belly receding back. So let the belly receive the blanket roll. And then start to come up out of the pose. Now we'll do puppy pose. So grab a blanket so that your knees and shins have some padding under them. Start on hands and knees. And then start to walk your hands forward, like down dog position. Pull your hips way up. The hips will be right over the knees here. So continue to walk those hands forward so that you're very long and extended, and let your forehead rest down on the sticky mat. So it's very similar to dog pose. And now lift up onto your fingertips. Lift your chest a little bit, stretch your chest forward, stretch your bottom front ribs forward. Find lots of length through the anterior spine, and then keep the arms lifting as you let your forehead rest down again, long through the armpits and the waist. Squeeze your upper arm bones towards each other a little bit. Breathe deeply here, enjoying this nice opening through the shoulders and the armpits. Long abdomen. And then come back up to hands and knees. And now we'll practice a deep lunge with a side bend. So lower your hands down onto the blocks and step your left foot back into a lunge. Deep in the lunge, keep the back leg active. Gather the right femur into the hip socket. And then elongate the left leg further back and lower the back knee down. Let the tailbone move into the body and lift the low belly. Gather your outer right thigh towards the hip. So pull from the outer right knee to the outer hip energetically. And then take the block that's on the right side of your foot and move that block all the way out to the right, in line with your right hip and out to the side. And then take a side bend into that right hand, which is on the block. So we're in a deep lunge and then adding a side bend to that as well. Leaning over to the right, gathering that outer right femur into the hip socket, and then gather both outer hips towards each other. Lift the low belly. Let the sacrum move forward towards the front heel. Bend further to the side. And then swing your left arm around, back down to the block. Lift your back thigh up as you tuck the toes. And step your back foot forward. And then bend your knees and step your right foot back into a lunge for the other side. Square your hips here by gathering that left femur towards the hip socket. Keep the back inner thigh lifting. Lengthen the spine here, buoyant in the belly. Reach the right thigh further back and then drop the right knee down. And then let the pelvis sink forward towards that front heel. Lift the low belly. Gather your outer hips in and take the block that's under your left hand and move it all the way out to the side in line with your left hip. And then start to side bend yourself, lifting the right arm up and over, side bend to the left. Let the tailbone move forward, bend the front knee, lift the low belly, kick the right foot into the floor and bend even deeper to the side. Side bending to the left. Gather the outer left thigh from the outer knee to the outer hip and gather the hips towards the midline. Tailbone anchoring deeper into the body. And then swing your arm forward and around to come back to the block. Lift the back thigh to come into a simple lunge again. And then step your back foot forward, soft knees, hands to the outer hips, stretch your chest forward and come up. Now we'll do a quad stretch with a chair, with the sticky mat against the wall and a blanket. So fold up your blanket and place it on the sticky mat near the wall as you see here. And turn around so your back is to the wall and so you're facing the chair, and rest on your shins and your feet can be up on the blanket. And then lean your hands into the seat of the chair and place your left knee on the blanket so that your left shin is against the wall. And then place your right foot between the legs of the chair and use your hands on the seat of the chair to help your spine become very upright. And you can press the top of the left foot into the wall and start to squeeze your outer hips towards each other. Pull the outer right thigh back towards the hip socket, square off your hips, and lift the low belly up off your pelvis, and even think of lifting the front of the pelvis as you ground the sacrum, the tailbone forward towards the front heel, and lift the spine, ascend the spine and lengthen it from bottom to top, squaring the hips, gathering the outer hips, lengthening the thoracic spine here as well. And then bring your front shin down to the floor and the back shin down to the floor, and we'll get ready to switch sides. Bring your hands onto the chair seat and place the right shin against the wall by taking the right knee onto the blanket. And place your left foot between the legs of the chair. Again, use your hands on the seat of the chair to help keep you upright. And start to gather the outer hips in. Pull the outer left thigh back. Square the hips and lift the low belly. Lift the front of the pelvis and ascend through the spine from bottom to top. And let the tailbone anchor forward towards the front heel. Continue to square the hips. Use the chair to lift up out of your waist. Kick the back foot into the wall. Let the sacrum move forward towards the front heel. Breathing here. Breathing into the sensations. Lifting the low belly, gathering the outer hips. And then lower the front shin down and lower the back shin down. Sit on the shins here, rest your hands on thighs. Now we'll practice downward facing dog with a chair at the wall. So place the back of your chair against the wall. Place your hands down on the front edge of the seat of the chair and then walk your feet back into a down dog position. And we want to avoid a curled spine and a tucked pelvis. So instead, bend your knees, lift your buttocks way up high, pull the buttocks back. Be long in your armpits, active in your arms, and release the head down. Now make your legs taller. Lift the thigh bones up into the hip sockets. Lift the buttocks and lengthen the backs of your legs. Keep your knees bent because that will help you keep the buttocks lifting. Pull the inner thighs back. Pull the outer hips back. Lift the hamstrings up to the buttock bones. Stretch open the backs of the legs, keeping the buttocks lifted. Pull the pelvis away from the press of the hands. And then lean forward into your hands and step one foot forward and then step the other foot forward. Now we'll practice Sukhasana with a twist. So please stack your blankets as you see here. Have a block behind your blankets and then cross at the centers of your shins with your right leg forward and pull the flesh of your buttocks back behind you so there's more buttock flesh behind the sitting bones, and sit directly on the centers of the sitting bones. Fingertips grounding down into the blankets, and take your shoulders back, side ribs lifting, elbows back, thighs relaxing. And now rest your hands on your thighs and enjoy the uprightness of your spine, and begin to twist to the left. So the right hand will come to the outer left knee, left hand on the block, which is behind the blankets, and use your hands to help you twist your rib cage around. Feel your low belly twisting to the left. Feel the rib cage twisting. Let the right belly twist to the left. Let the left belly twist to the left. Breathe here as you twist. And come back to center. Inhale in the center and then exhale, twist to the right. So let the abdomen settle back and turn. And then let the rib cage follow. Keep the shoulders hugging towards the backs of the shoulder sockets. Use that left hand, which is on the outer right knee. Turn the right ribs more to the right. Turn the left ribs around to the right. The abdomen recedes and rotates. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to deepen the twist. Coming back to center, and then switch the cross of the shins and bring the left shin in front. Inhale here, lifting the anterior spine, and exhale, take a twist to the left. Pull the right hand into the left knee to help you turn your right ribs around and the left ribs back. The abdomen settles back and lengthens. Turn at the latitude of the navel and the rib cage and the collarbones, and then the head. And then inhale back to the center. And exhale, turn to the right. Use that left hand to pull your left ribs forward and the right ribs back. Really be on the center of the sitting bones. Lengthen the sides of your waist and turn a little more, turning the low belly, turn at the latitude of the navel, the bottom ribs, middle ribs, upper ribs, collarbones, and the head. And then inhale back to center and exhale here in the center. And now for Supta Urdhva Hastasana. Make sure that the flesh of your buttocks is pulled away from the low back, and then stretch your legs out one at a time and reach your arms up overhead but along the floor, and stretch your whole body out in this manner. Open the feet, open the toes, roll your thighs in and ground your thighs down towards the mat, and pull your rib cage long away from the legs. Lengthen and extend your arms. So pull your legs towards the feet and pull your arms towards the hands, and let your abdomen, let your whole midsection, let your lumbar receive that stretch. Breathing here as you stretch the legs and stretch the sides of your belly, stretch the arms. Relax and release any tension that's unnecessary as you lengthen, and then bend your knees and come back to neutral. And lay down on your back now for a supine twist. Extend your arms out to the sides. Lift your knees up over your hips And then take your knees over to the right towards your right elbow. And rest your legs down on the floor here, and then reach the left arm to the left to increase the twist. Feel your belly rolling to the left as your legs relax more and more to the right. Have a sense of widening across the collarbones, long and wide through the arms, open hands. You can ground your arms down into the floor, lengthen the spine here, and turn the belly more to the left as you relax the legs more to the right. And then bring your legs up to the center. And take your legs over towards the left elbow, knees nice and bent. Take a moment as you settle your body here. Reach the right arm to the right to help open the chest. And let your belly recede and roll to the right as you relax your legs more and more to the left. Spread through the arms, long spine, smooth breath. Roll the belly to the right. And then take the legs back to center and feet down. Now we'll practice happy baby pose. So start laying down on your back, knees bent and feet flat, pelvis and spine neutral, long spine, breathing here. And then bring your knees into your chest and have your knees wide. And then kick your heels up towards the ceiling and grab onto the outer edges of your feet with your hands. Kick your heels away from the sitting bones to keep the backs of the knees open, and let those thighs hug your outer rib cage. And breathe and relax here, and you can do some playful movements like pulling your right knee down towards the armpit and then pulling the left knee down towards the armpit. Let the lower back release and relax. Press the inner feet up towards the ceiling. Stay long in your spine here. Let the abdomen recede and lengthen, so no hardening or pushing in the belly at all. Bring your knees back towards your chest, grabbing onto the knees. Bring your legs back down, feet coming to the mat. And then start to elongate and stretch the legs and reach your arms overhead. Just creating some length here. Rolling the thighs in, stretching the inner feet forward. Lengthening the belly. Deep breath. And then release. Now get ready for Supta Baddha Konasana. So have your bolster on the sticky mat lengthwise and have an open blanket near your feet as you see here. And tuck your buttocks under so the flesh of your buttocks is pulled away from your lower back, and then lengthen yourself back out onto the bolster. And let your feet come together and the knees open, and wrap the blanket over the feet. Find a way to bunch up the blanket so that you're supported. And then grab onto opposite elbows and have your arms all the way overhead. Relax and release the internal trunk here so that your breath can move freely through the trunk. Let the breath move up and down the spine. And as you relax in your trunk, see if more length comes naturally. Relax and release the abdomen, unsticking, ungripping any contraction. And then switch the cross of the arms and pull for a moment the elbows long behind you so that your arms are elongating out of the waist. And let your arms rest as you settle, as you elongate the exhalations here. Release and relax the hips and the groins. Enjoy the support of the bolster for your upper back. And enjoy the passive extension, allowing any tightness along the front of the spine to become open and free and long. And now open your arms out into a cactus position. So the elbows come towards the floor at around shoulder height. And the forearms are parallel. And your forearms may or may not come to the floor here. It depends on how open you are. It depends on the height of your bolster. But just explore this nice open position in the chest, elbows wide. Armpits releasing and relaxing. You can slide your shoulder blades down your back a little bit here. And if you need to change your arm position, that's also fine. Smooth inhalations, smooth exhalations.